Short tracking my old M8000, turning it into a backcountry bomber. The tunnel's all chopped up and the bumper's been remounted. A little bit of refinement and some polish and a skid remount. Today on Six's Backcountry. Just a couple of things since last video. I straightened out everything. I straightened out the tunnel, made sure everything was gonna mount up nice. Check this out. I pretty much got that bend like right out of the tunnel. Yeah, with like just a little bit of stretching and minimal swearing, I was able to get everything to line up again. I never did remount the skid solid because I knew we'd have to be taking it back out again for today's video. So for the third video in a row, here we go. We're taking out the skid. If you've ever done like an elevate kit before on either like a pro climb or an ascender, we're doing exactly that. Because you see, behind this plate, there is a secret hole. It's right about here. If you reach up under the back of the skid, right below this hole where my finger is, you can actually feel it. This chassis is dual plate aluminum. So in the back there, in one of those inner aluminum plates, there's already a pilot hole drilled for you. So you don't have to measure anything out. That hole sits a little bit lower, so it should be exactly what we need to drop that skid to correct that attack angle issue just a little bit. I didn't need to do that with the 162 rails when I did the kit initially a few years back, but these 141 rails are shaped a little bit differently and they sit a little bit lower, so I have to drop the skid just a little bit if I can. It's actually not even sitting nearly as bad as I thought. I thought it was really sitting in a position where it was doing push-ups. It's not too bad. I probably don't even really need to do this. You guys are gonna get really good at removing skids because here we go again. Skids out again, so here we are. Let's go have a look up under the tunnel. So on both sides of the tunnel, right here, is a little hole that is drilled through this plate, aluminum, but not through the chassis fully. It's actually, I thought it was gonna be down a little further, but it's really just forward. So it may not even work well for us, but we'll drill it out since we're in here because then we always have the option to mount it there. Yeah, this isn't a tough thing to do. Let me figure out what size of drill bit this one is. That one's a nice fit. Okay, this one actually isn't in here, but it's a 13/32. I'm just gonna mark the middle of it. And you could drill a pilot hole if you wanted to. I'm not gonna. Yes, I am. I'm not actually sure if that's lower or not. It's really tough to tell, but it does give us a new mounting option. Either way, that'll actually help out with the skid remount a whole bunch because that rear skid mount, it is tight getting it in that one. So it'll pull the whole skid forward a little more, if anything. So that looks good now. Went in there and deburred both the holes, and that's really all there is to it. Now we can do a remount. Even if it doesn't work for our stands, it does give us more mounting options. Well, that looks good. Doesn't that pie look good? Okay, I changed some things up. I stiffened up the rear suspension and I plushened up the front suspension just to make it handle maybe a little bit better on some trails. I played with the suspension on this thing a whole bunch. I'm not done with it though, and I think I'm going to be playing with it probably throughout the first ride. So opened up a bunch of options there. I'm probably gonna move that front mount back to the place we had it before. I don't know though. I think the skid just might sit a little bit better that way, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to play with it a whole bunch. It might just be because I'm used to looking at this sled in a different way, and I think it just looks off now. Like something seems off. I don't know if it's the way it's sitting, but it just, something doesn't seem quite right. Man, this thing would look way better if we could lower the bars on it. I've not touched the bars on this thing in like 5 years. I'm afraid to adjust them. Well, they're probably seized in place, or it's gonna seize open if I hit that. Oh, that's tight. These adjustable risers were sure cool, but in the day, but just really a set and forget thing. Everybody just set them to where they like them and didn't touch them again after that. Ah, screw it. Let's see if we can get them operating again. Oh! Okay, well, that's where they live for the moment. That's kind of what I figured. All right, well, we'll leave the handlebars for now. The skis, I think I'm going to leave in the way they are right now. I might take them out if I decide it needs it. I'm just going to show you what I did here for those wondering about this. So I let all the air pressure out of the rear arm shock, and then the front arm shock, I just took out the bolt and disconnected it. And I did that also I could put my jack under here and then compress the front of the suspension. So it looks weird because I have it all squished up. But the whole reason I did that was to check our clearance up in here between the slide rail end cap and the drivers. I was thinking that maybe we moved the skid so much further forward that maybe the rail end caps might contact the drivers, because I've never done this with stock rails before. I always do it with elevate rails, so I thought maybe they might be a little different. I really just wanted to show that there is clearance here between the end cap and the teeth of the driver when the suspension is fully compressed on this bumper. So just another thing to think about. All right, besides the suspension, I think that's pretty much everything that I was gonna do for now on this thing. Time to get it cleaned up and see what it turns into. Track's a little tight. Man, that made that thing look like a brand new sled. I've been wanting to take the badges and decals off for a while now, and I finally decided it was time. A couple of people have said I should take this snow flap and just cut it down like right here or something like that, wherever it needs to be, and then just have like the little tail flap off the back of that. That's an option. I might do that. I haven't decided yet. Could do that with the Polaris flap too, maybe. Woo, the neighborhood be a poppin'. I still got to play with the suspension a whole bunch more. Even though we did the skid remount today, I'm not really sure exactly where I'm gonna have it sit until I go out and ride it a few times. So I don't know exactly how I'm gonna have that skid in most mounting positions. Oh, that little kid's in trouble. Answering a couple questions. So why the 141? Well, I didn't want to go 141. I wanted a 137. I was having a hard time tracking down the 137 rails. I would have had to change drivers, which wasn't really a big deal. I could have done that. But then I saw this 141 come up for sale, as well as the 141 rails come up for sale right next to it. And I figured it was a sign. Yeah, the new thing to do is to do like a 146 on a high-powered snowmobile with like a 2.6 or a 3-inch track or something like this. I wasn't thinking that at all. I was thinking 137 track, super aggressive lugs with ice picks. The whole idea was to actually build like a ditch banger, but it really turned out to be more like a backcountry bomber, which is actually probably for a good thing. This would have been the machine around here last year. But at the end of the day, I ended up with the 141 rails off an XF 1100 and a 141 track off a different XF 1100 turbo. Both 2014s, so is this one. It's actually kind of better that I got the 141 because at least I have the versatility to take this to the mountains, especially those Alberta ones that I like to ride. So the whole idea in building this sled was that I wouldn't have to take my turbo and take it rock smashing here in Alberta. I wanted something that I could actually ride around here, and this one finally came to the age where it was a good year to finally do it. So it's really like a crossover, ditch banger, rock smasher, bomber, mountain, cross-country snowmobile. It does everything okay. This sled is basically moving on to its third life now as a bomber. There's more to come on this. I don't really like the handlebars and a couple other things. And storage will be the other thing, but I've got a pretty neat idea for a pack out mount I'm gonna put on both my sleds. Like for the steering post, I know like RSI makes these special risers for that adjustable steering post where you just chop it off and then you drop this block on and then you can put on whatever riser you want. I might do that. What else? The tether, yeah, the tether doesn't work. That'll be like tether number 4. I'll upgrade it to one of those magnetic ones. But there's a couple more things to do, and I need to put this one away for the short time being and bring out my other one so I can go ride it. I don't know if it'll be the next video, but within a couple, we'll be out shredding the gnar. But that's about it for this video. I'm not quite done with this thing, but I want to sit back and think about it a little bit and think about how I want to do a couple of the other things. I don't have the parts here either. But if you're thinking of something to do with your old sled instead of getting rid of it, I did this mod for... If I sell those old parts, I might actually make money on it. As long as you can get a good deal on the parts and you're willing to do your own labor, you can do this for actually really cheap. Thanks everybody for watching today's video. I don't usually ask, but if you would like to, like and subscribe, it helps out a whole lot. And hopefully, probably within a video or two, there will be rides going on. But it's freaking cold here, so I'm gonna shut the garage door and warm up. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video.